The night shift wasn't a choice. It was survival. By 9:47 p.m., the city outside was quiet, but his apartment was alive with small sounds. The hum of the fridge, the soft scratch of crayons on paper, his daughter's uneven breathing as she fought sleep at the kitchen table. He checked the time, then his bank app. Red numbers. Again. "Daddy has to go to work," he said gently, forcing a smile. She nodded, pretending to be brave. He tucked her into bed, kissed her forehead, and whispered the same promise he made every night. "I'll be back before you wake up." He lied just a little. The warehouse job paid cash for overnight security. No benefits. No questions. 12 hours on his feet, watching cameras that rarely showed anything except flickering lights and empty corridors. It wasn't heroic work, but it kept the lights on. Around 2:13 a.m., the alarms went off. Not loud, not dramatic, just a single red blink on camera 7. He zoomed in. A woman stood near the loading bay gates. Well-dressed. Too well-dressed for this part of town. Her coat was torn at the sleeve, her heels ruined, her face pale under the harsh security lights. She was shaking. Protocol said, "Call it in. Let management handle it." But something in her eyes, fear mixed with pride, made him grab his jacket instead. Outside, the air was cold and sharp. She flinched when he approached. "I'm security," he said calmly. "You're safe." She looked at him like she didn't quite believe the word safe anymore. Her car had broken down. Phone dead. Wallet gone. She didn't ask for money. She didn't ask for a ride. She only asked one thing. "Can I wait here until morning?" He nodded without hesitation. He gave her his chair, made instant coffee from the break room, and stood watch the rest of the night. They barely talked. She thanked him once, quietly, like it mattered. At dawn, a black car pulled up outside his apartment building. Then another. Then another. Men in tailored suits stepped out, scanning the street like soldiers. One opened the door for her, the same woman from the warehouse, now composed, powerful, unrecognizable. She walked up the stairs and knocked. The single dad opened the door, half asleep, still in his work clothes. Behind her, the city seemed to hold its breath. "Good morning," she said softly. "I believe I owe you my life." He blinked, certain he was still dreaming. Behind her, the men waited, silent, alert. The black cars idled like they owned the street. His daughter peeked from behind his leg, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "I think you have the wrong door," he said carefully. The woman smiled. Not the frightened smile from the night before, but something calm, controlled, powerful. "You gave me shelter when you didn't know my name," she said. "You broke protocol. You chose kindness." She turned slightly, and one of the men stepped forward, placing a slim folder into her hand. "My name is Eleanor Vale." The name landed heavy. Even he had heard it before, on news clips playing silently in store windows, on business magazines people flipped through at doctors' offices. Billionaire. Investor. The woman who bought failing companies and turned them into empires. His stomach tightened. "I don't want trouble," he said quickly. "I just work nights." "I didn't." She raised a hand, stopping him. "You didn't ask who I was," she said softly. "That's why I'm here." She knelt slightly so she was eye level with his daughter. "You must be the reason he never complains," she said gently. His daughter nodded shyly. Eleanor stood, her expression turning serious again. "Last night, 3 men followed me after a board meeting," she continued. "My driver was injured. My phone was taken. If you hadn't opened that gate, things would have ended very differently." One of the men behind her shifted. Another scanned the stairwell. Eleanor looked back at the single dad. "I've reviewed your file," she said. 2 jobs. No sick days. No criminal record. A degree you never finished because life didn't give you the luxury. He swallowed. I didn't do it for a reward. I know, she replied. That's why this isn't charity. She slid the folder toward him. By tonight, your night shifts end, she said. By tomorrow, your daughter's future changes. He didn't open the folder yet. He just stared at the woman who had walked into his night and come back with the morning. His hand hovered over the folder, then pulled back. I can't accept money, he said quietly. I don't even know what's inside. Eleanor studied him for a long second, as if weighing something far more important than a signature. Then don't think of it as money, she said. Think of it as work. She opened the folder herself and turned it so he could see. Not checks, not contracts full of legal traps. Just one page. A job offer. Day shift. Security operations supervisor. Training provided. Hours that ended before sunset. Health insurance. A salary that made his chest tighten. I don't have the experience for this, he said. You have exactly the experience I need, Eleanor replied. You saw someone vulnerable and chose action over rules. I can teach systems. I can't teach character. His daughter tugged his sleeve. Daddy, you won't be gone at night anymore? He looked down at her, then back at Eleanor. That depends, he said carefully. What happens if I say no? Eleanor smiled again, this time softer. Nothing, she said. I still sleep at night knowing someone like you exists. Silence filled the doorway. The men in suits waited. The city waited. Finally, he exhaled. I'll try, he said. But I won't be anyone's charity story. Her eyes warmed with something like respect. Good, she said. Because I don't need a story. I need a standard. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, she added, glancing back. There's one more thing. Another man stepped forward and handed him a small envelope. Your rent, Eleanor said. Paid for the year. Consider it back pay. For the night you reminded me what safety actually feels like. The door closed. He stood there for a long moment, the envelope unopened, his daughter smiling up at him. For the first time in years, the morning didn't feel like the end of something. It felt like the beginning. That afternoon, he didn't go to sleep. He made pancakes instead. His daughter laughed when the first one burned, and he laughed too, really laughed. For the first time in years, the envelope stayed on the counter, unopened, like it might disappear if he touched it. By evening, his phone buzzed with a number he didn't recognize. Mr. Harris, a calm voice said. Transportation is outside. Orientation begins at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. Casual attire. He almost said no. Old habits. Old fear. But then he looked at his daughter coloring at the table, humming to herself, safe and awake while the sun was still up. I'll be there, he said. The building the next morning didn't look real. Glass, steel, quiet confidence. Everyone walked with purpose. No one looked tired. They treated him like he belonged. Weeks passed, then months. He learned systems, schedules, strategy. But more than that, people listened to him. When he spoke, things changed. When he noticed something felt wrong, it was checked. Immediately. One afternoon, Eleanor stopped beside his desk. You're harder to replace than you think, she said. He shrugged. I just do my job. She smiled. Exactly. That night he tucked his daughter into bed while the sky was still blue. Daddy, she whispered, sleepy. Are we okay now? He brushed her hair back gently. We are, he said. And we're going to be even better. Outside, the city lights came on one by one. But for the first time, he didn't have to chase the night to survive it. He had finally earned the morning.